Welcome back to my channel and a very special welcome if you're new here. My name is Jen and this is Jen Clayton Beauty. I'm really excited for today's video. I have been on this kick in 2024 of trying indie brands that I have admired from a distance, loved their releases, but never bit the bullet and purchased anything. And that is one of my goals for this year, is to try out new indie brands. Indie makeup brands are my all-time favorite. And this particular indie makeup brand has caught my attention time and time again. I just never bit the bullet. Palettes are a little bit pricey. Now, I have heard rave reviews about this brand. When they released their most recent palette, I bit the bullet, I bought it, and I'm so happy that I did. And that is from Ensley Reign Cosmetics, and this is the Cold Moon palette. Now, they released the Strawberry Moon and the Harvest Moon. Both of those palettes I really wanted but never picked up. Spoiler alert, now I must have them. But I did decide to go ahead and grab Cold Moon. This is a cool tone dream. Now, like I said, these palettes are a little bit on the pricey side for good reason. I will go ahead and insert close-ups of the palette, swatches, all of that for you as well. These are fully magnetic palettes, which means that you can move the eyeshadow pans around. There is a ton, and when I say a ton, I mean a ton of sparkly, amazing, best of the best duochromes and multichromes in this palette. Beautiful, buttery, soft mattes. I love that this is a cool toned neutral palette with a twist. I always say if I'm going to purchase a neutral palette, it's going to have a twist to it in order for me to even be interested in it. And this palette is just that. These multichromes are incredible. Now, you know I love a lot of indie brands like Unearthly Cosmetics, Adept, Odin's Eye, Nomad Cosmetics, but the multichromes in this Ensley Reign palette rival all of those. They are so good. Even looking at the palette right now, I see all of the shifts and it literally makes me so happy. I cannot wait to put this palette on my eyes. So we are going to do a look with the new Ensley Reign Cold Moon palette. So if you're excited, give this video a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not, turn your bell on, because I upload lots and lots of new videos every single week, and I do a lot of makeup tutorials. I have several other palettes and items coming your way in the month of February, showcasing some of these amazing indie brands that I've tried out and some really good mainstream products as well. I will link Ensley Reign and the Cold Moon palette down below. I will link the 10% discount code that I used when I purchased the palette. I was all about saving 10%. Also, all of my favorite beauty subscription boxes, all of the other makeup that I'm wearing in today's video, if you would like to recreate this look, discounts to my favorite indie brands, and come follow me over on TikTok for more beauty and makeup. So let me zoom you in and let's create a look with this beautiful palette. As always, the first thing I'm going to do is prime my eyes with my MAC Paint Pot and Painterly. I always use an eyeshadow primer to set my shadow in place. It also prevents creasing, settling into fine lines, and really helps with the true opacity of all these beautiful shimmers. I always tap that in just to make sure there's no creasing. I don't even know where to begin. I mean, I truly want to use every shade in here, which I know is not possible, but every shade is just so incredibly beautiful. I was debating if I wanted to do a cool toned, pure neutral look with the browns and the taupes and the grays, or if I wanted to pop in a little bit of pink and some of the mauves in the palette. I think I'm going to use a little bit of both. Some of the neutral mattes, some of the more mauvey mattes, same with the shimmers. So the first shade I'm going to pick up is this shade here called Transformation. This is a cool toned taupe with a little bit of a pink undertone, really unique and beautiful matte. And I'm going to pop that in my crease and above my crease. Now this is interesting. This is very gray. Looking at it in the palette, it's not this gray. I mean, I'm not mad about it. It's a beautiful, beautiful, cool toned gray. And again, very neutral. It does have a little bit of a purple undertone, so it'll pair really beautifully with the pinks and mauves in the palette. That was one tap in. One tap in and my entire crease is done. So I am bringing that a little bit above my crease as always, just because I do have hooded eyes. That applied so beautifully. It's so interesting looking at the shade and then my eye. I mean, I guess it does look a little gray leaning in the pan. Absolutely beautiful. And then I'm going to pick up this pinky mauve shade, a little bit of purple base in that one as well, called Cat Mint. And I'm going to pick that up with just the tip of my fluffy brush and put that directly in my crease. Not going above my crease, just staying right in my crease. And then even bringing that down onto my lid to give me a matte lid before I go in with shimmers. And just back and forth to pack that in. And then using that same fluffy brush, no added shadow, I'm just going to do a quick blend. Those two colors together, gorgeous. Now to deepen up my outer corner, add that depth, there are so many options in this palette. I do love that there's light, mid-tone, and deep mattes to really give you that perfect look. So I could really choose any of these mattes here, but I think I'm gonna go with the shade Mother's Night, which is this deep, dark, kind of chocolate, cool toned brown. Picking that up on an angled brush, this is actually from Game Beauty. I'm going to pack that in the outer corner. Now that is coming off on the eye as a eggplant brown. It's a beautiful cool tone brown with a bit of a deep purple eggplant base. And again, one tap in. And then going back into that first shade in our crease transformation, I'm going to pick a little bit of that up on that fluffy brush and diffuse and blend out those edges. As always, I'm going to use my NYX glitter glue, pop some of that on my lids, and let's dip into these amazing multi-chromes. So hard to decide which one to use. Every one of these swatched beautifully. They're buttery, they're gorgeous, they're shifty, they're exceptional. I think I'm going to start with this one here called Snow Fairies. Look at how pretty that is. It's shifty from gold to pink to lavender, and I'm going to focus that on the outer 3/4 of my lid. Look at that. Whoa. That sparkle, that shift, I'm blown away. This is so buttery soft too. Oh my goodness. It is packing on beautifully with the finger. We will apply the second shimmer shade with a brush so we can test out that application method. That's absolutely incredible. Then let's go ahead and pick up this shifty shade here called Snow Crystal, and I'm going to pick that up on a pencil brush, and that is it's so foily, just pressing into that shimmer, and it looks like it's a blue, green, gold, silver shift, and I'm going to put that on the inner corner. Wow, there's a lot more pink even in that. It's very, very, very flaky, so be careful picking that up, especially with a brush. Now I was able to pick this up on a brush and kind of pack it in. I would say that this particular shimmer, and maybe a lot of the multi-chromes and shimmers in this palette, would be best picked up with a finger, just so that you can control the flakiness a little bit, but it did pick up beautifully with the brush as well, and I'm just kind of tapping and pulling that over into that first shimmer shade. You can see I do have a little bit of that sparkly glitter fallout. I'll just go ahead and wipe that away, but that shade is also absolutely gorgeous. Now using a pencil brush, I'm going to pick up this gray shade here called Rebirth, and I'm going to buff that on my lower lash line. I want to bring a little bit more smokiness to tie in with that deep dark outer corner. And this shade is so pretty. It's a deep, dark, cool toned gray. And then going into this taupey silver gray shimmer called Wolf Moon, I'm going to also pick that up on my pencil brush and buff that right on top of that matte. That's really pretty. That definitely diffused that out a little bit, and it added this really pretty kind of sparkle to my lower lash line. And then for inner corner highlight, again, I'm drawn to so many shades in here, but I'm going to do this pink shade here called Forbidding as my inner corner highlight. Ooh, yeah, that's perfect. That is so pretty. Definitely ties in the other pink that I have in the inner part of my lid. And this pink is really beautiful as well. It has a nice silver bright base to it. Oh, it looks so good paired with those shimmers on the lid. And then last but not least, taking that fluffy brush and just kind of blending everything out. So here's the completed look. Let me go ahead and do a liner, mascara, put a lippy on, and I'll be back to share my first impression thoughts on the Ensley Reign Cold Moon palette. So here is the final look for today. I'm going to change my shirt and head out to my nail appointment, and I want to give you my first impression thoughts on the Ensley Reign Cold Moon palette. So first of all, the packaging, a million out of 10. I love this. It's absolutely beautiful. The color story, absolutely beautiful. One thing I didn't notice that there is no mirror in the palette. That's not really an issue for me, but if you're someone that uses the mirror to get ready, or if you take it traveling, that could be a little bit of an issue. You'll just have to bring a mirror with you. But I actually like that the artwork is also on the inside cover. They are removable pans. They are fully magnetic, so you can move them around. I love this. I really love this. My look is so beautiful. It's ethereal, it's sparkly, but it's also a little bit sultry and smoky. I love it. I love the fact that the mattes are neutral, and then there's some pinks and mauves and grays and really just elevated neutrals. And then the multi-chromes, duochrome shimmers, that's where this palette really shines. I really like these more flaky shimmers, which are these down here. And then the little bit more normal duochrome shimmers that aren't as flaky. Like I said in the tutorial, you do have to be mindful picking up the really flaky shadows. Maybe using a finger would be the best application, or even spray your brush just to prevent any fallout. But I was able to just wipe away the little tiny bit of shimmer fallout that I had. But they're beautiful. There's so many gorgeous multi-chromes in here. Everything about this palette is perfection. The mattes, the shimmers, everything. Now I really want the Strawberry Moon and the Harvest Moon palette. I don't even know if they're still available, but let me know if you guys would be interested in seeing me pick up the rest of the Ensley Reign palettes and doing tutorials on those, because this literally blew my mind. This is probably one of the best indie palettes that I've tried. I love the color story. I love the formula. I love everything about it. I will, of course, link Ensley Reign down below. I'll link this palette for you with the discount that I use. Also, all of my favorite beauty boxes, all of the other makeup that I'm wearing. If you kind of wanted to create my look, discounts to my favorite indie brands, and come follow me over on TikTok for more beauty and makeup. Love, love, love. Cannot wait to see what they put out in 2024. And I think I need to get my hands on all of the other palettes.